From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day, this is Dateline Malacañang and here are the news. Malacañang confirmed that Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. has the entire trust and confidence of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., regardless of recent suspicions about his previous Maltese citizenship. Presidential Communications Office Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro made the confirmation during a Palace press briefing. Castro said that President Marcos was fully aware of Teodoro's previous dual citizenship status and that the issue had long been resolved.
Ang makakasagot po ng motibo na yan ay tanging sa Secretary Gibo Teodoro. Ang masasabi lamang po natin ngayon, the President gives the confidence to Secretary Gibo. Secretary Gibo still enjoys the trust and confidence of the President. Alam po, kasi nasa records naman po yan. Even the COMELEC, pati po yung Commission on Appointments, alam po nila to.
The Department of National Defense previously indicated that Teodoro legally surrendered his Maltese citizenship in 2021 before returning to public service.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang said Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. approved a proposed 6.793 trillion pesos budget for 2026. The budget proposal will focus on both economic development and improving the standard of life for Filipinos. In a press briefing, Presidential Communications Office Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro reported that President Marcos approved the budget to improve education quality and improve the lives of Filipinos during a cabinet meeting in Malacañang earlier that day. Castro said President Marcos emphasized the necessity of aligning the 2026 budget with his administration's vision of a more progressive and inclusive Philippines that ensures the well-being of all citizens and the next generation.
Sa layuning mapataas ang kalidad ng edukasyon sa Pilipinas at pag-aani ng pamumuhay ng mga Pilipino, inaprubahan ni President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. ang 6.793 trillion pesos proposed budget para sa susunod na taon. Sa ginanap na cabinet meeting sa Malacañang kaninang umaga, binigyan diin ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. na sisiguruhin na ang 2026 budget ay hindi lamang pang economic growth, kundi maiangat ang buhay ng bawat Pilipino at ang susunod na mga henerasyon. Sa ilalim ng Marcos administration, mahalaga ang kapakanan ng bawat isa at ang kinabukasan ng taong bayan tungo sa mas progresibo at maunlad na bagong Pilipinas.
The National Expenditure Program, or NEP, is the national government's budget for the upcoming fiscal year. It serves as a foundation for Congress in developing the General Appropriations Bill, which becomes the General Appropriations Act if signed into law by the President. The Constitution requires that the NEP or NEP will be delivered to Congress within 30 days following the President's State of the Union Address, or SONA. On July 28, President Marcos will deliver his fourth State of the Nation Address, or SONA, before a joint session of Congress. The projected budget, the country's largest to date, is anticipated to fund critical programs in education, infrastructure, digitalization, healthcare, and social services.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang said Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. will be the one to draft his fourth State of the Nation Address, or SONA, that will be delivered at the Batasang Pambansa Complex in Quezon City on July 28.
Sa ngayon po muli at hindi pa rin po ako nabibigyan ng anong detalye, pero ito po ay piniprepare na po ng Pangulo. Siya po mismo ang nag-aaral at kung ano kanyang isisiwalat at i-report sa SONA. At kapag ka po nabigyan ko po kayo, kahit hindi nyo na po ako tanungin, ilalagay ko po agad sa press briefing natin.
President Marcos is scheduled to deliver his SONA at the session hall of the House of Representatives before a joint session of Congress. He is expected to discuss his administration's progress midway through his term and reaffirm policy directions, including the economy, infrastructure, agriculture, digitalization, and national security. Malacañang earlier said President Marcos will focus on presenting a clear and comprehensive report to the Filipino people. During his third SONA last year, President Marcos highlighted the Philippines' good economic standing and ended his speech with his firm stance to protect the West Philippine Sea and directive to ban all Philippine offshore gaming operators or POGOs. As if Marcos would also make a similar pronouncement ordering a ban on all online gaming sites on or before SONA. Presidential Communications Office Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said the proposal is still being studied.
Ang mga pagpapasyang ganito po ay talagang pinag-aaralan kung ito ba'y makakaapekto sa ekonomiya, makakaapekto sa mamamayan, at hindi po tayo maaaring magpadalos-dalos dito. Dahil minsan ko po, kapag ka po mismo ang legal at license na mga online gaming sites ang iyong ibaban, mas dumadami ang mga illegal na online gaming sites. At yan po ay mas nakakaapekto sa ekonomiya. So pinag-aaralan po yan ng Pangulo. Opo, pinag-aaralan po siya.
Earlier this month, Malacañang said President Marcos is open to the proposals to regulate and tax online gaming platforms to protect public welfare and address gambling addiction.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. expressed his administration's complete support for the Malampaya Phase 4 drilling activities, describing the project as crucial to guaranteeing an affordable and stable power supply for millions of Filipinos. In a Facebook post, President Marcos underlined the importance of tapping new gas deposits as existing resources in the Malampaya gas field, which now delivers around 20% of Luzon's power deplete. President Marcos personally flew over the Noble Viking drilling rig to supervise ongoing activities, demonstrating the administration's commitment to energy security. The Malampaya Deepwater Gas-to-Power project off the shore of Palawan is the country's sole indigenous supply of natural gas. It has powered many gas-fired power plants in Batangas since 2001, considerably adding to the Luzon grid and reducing reliance on imported fuel. While speeding the transition to renewable energy, President Marcos emphasized that natural gas is still an important aspect of the country's transition strategy. Phase 4 of the Malampaya project aims to drill new wells to extend the facility's life and maintain its output. If efficient, the production from the new wells could prolong Malampaya's operations until 2034, up from the present prediction of 2029.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has abolished the Office of the Presidential Advisor on Military and Police Affairs, or OPAMPA, amid the reorganization of the administrative structure of the Office of the President, or OP. Under Executive Order, or EO 89, inked by President Marcos on July 11, the OPAMPA is hereby abolished following the revisit of the separate office in charge of military and police affairs within the OP, consistent with the streamlining and right-sizing policy of the administration. All records, documents, resources, office spaces, and other properties in custody of or are being used by the OPAMPA will be turned over to the Office of the Deputy Executive Secretary for support services and auxiliaries, subject to existing laws, rules, and regulations. In 1999, the Office of the Presidential Advisor on Military Affairs was created to provide military staff assistance within DOP, as well as to facilitate policy formulation and decision-making on national security concerns and military affairs. By virtue of EO1 issued in 2002, the OPAMPA was established under the administration of the Office of the Special Assistant to the President. Amid efforts to recalibrate his administration, President Marcos accepted the resignation of Presidential Advisor on Military and Police Affairs Roman Felix in June this year. EO 89, which was made public on Tuesday, takes effect immediately upon its publication in the official gazette or a newspaper of general circulation.
Dateline Malacañang.
The 2016 arbitral ruling in the South China Sea or SCS remains legally binding and cornerstone of international maritime law. Malacañang said after China continues to disregard the Philippines' historic win in its territorial dispute with Beijing.
Kasalukuyang ginugunita ng bansa ang 9th anniversary ng Arbitral Award, patunay na nagpapatuloy na commitment ng Pilipinas sa rule of law at sa UN Convention on the Law of the Sea or UNCLOS. Ang nasabing award ay nagpawalang bisa sa historic rights at 9-dash line ng claims ng China. Isang kumpirmasyon sa sovereign rights ng Pilipinas sa loob ng exclusive economic zones sa bansa. Nilinaw din dito ang maritime status ng ilang mga features sa South China Sea at nakukundina sa panggugulo sa mga Filipino vessels at environmental destruction na dulot ng pagbuo ng mga artificial island. Naninindigan ang Marcos administration na nanatiling legally binding at nagsisilbing cornerstone ng international maritime law ang arbitral ruling na siya ring nagsilbing gabay sa national policy, kabilang na ang Philippine Maritime Zones Act at nagpapalakas sa legal at operational posture ng bansa.
This after the Chinese Foreign Ministry earlier said the 2016 arbitral award on SCS favoring the Philippines is nothing but a piece of waste paper that is illegal, null and void, and non-binding. The Chinese Foreign Ministry also claimed that the Hague-based Permanent Court of Arbitrations or PCA's ruling on the West Philippine Sea or SCS South China Sea disputes is fundamentally flawed with obvious mistakes. While China's position remains unchanged, Presidential Communications Office Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said the current administration has a different perspective and stance. Castro said the award invalidated China's historic rights and 9-dash line claims, stressing that it is a confirmation of the Philippines' sovereign rights within the country's exclusive economic zone. She said the ruling serves as the Philippines' guide to national policy, strengthening the country's legal and operational posture. Castro also enjoined Filipinos to stand united to protect the Philippine territory.
Parang nadinig na po natin yan nung nakaraan pa, na ang sinasabing arbitral award ay isang papel na dapat lamang ibasura. Hindi po ganyan ang paningin at pananaw ng kasalukuyang administrasyon. Nagsalita na po si Secretary Tess Lazaro, nagsalita na rin po si Secretary Gibo Chodoro, pati na po si Secretary Anyo. Isang tagumpay po na mapaalam sa buong mundo kung ano ang ipinaglalaban natin at kung ano ang para sa Pilipinas at para sa taong bayan. Muli, ang Pangulo, hindi isusuko ang soberenya, ang karapatan ng bansa at ang taong bayan, kahit kanino pa man. Muli, tayo ay lahat Pilipino, dapat po tayo ay nagkakaisang ipaglaban kung anong meron tayo. Manatili po tayo maging pro-Philippines, makabansa, makabayan. Huwag natin tularan ng iba na not pro any country.
To protect the country's marine resources, President Marcos on November 8, 2024, signed Republic Act or RA 12064, the Philippine Maritime Zones Act, and RA 12065, the Philippine Archipelagic Sea Lanes Act. RA 12064 delineates the maritime zones under the jurisdiction of the Philippines, while RA 12065 designates the sea lanes and air routes suitable for the continuous and expeditious passage of foreign ships and aircraft through or over its archipelagic waters and the adjacent territorial sea.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, the Philippine Department of Migrant Workers or DMW is urgently working to repatriate the Filipino crew members of the Greek-managed Liberia-flagged bulk carrier MV Eternity Sea, attacked by Houthi forces on July 7 off the coast of Yemen. In a news release, Migrant Workers Secretary Hans Leo Cacda confirmed the 8 Filipino seafarers have disembarked at Guzman port and are now under the care of the Migrant Workers Office, Overseas Workers Welfare Administration or MWO-OWA, in Saudi Arabia under the one-country team led by the Department of Foreign Affairs or DFA Jeddah Philippine Consulate General PCG. MV Eternity Sea, with 22 crew members on board, including 21 Filipinos, was attacked by the Iran-backed Houthi rebels with missiles and rocket-propelled grenades while sailing the Red Sea. 5 Filipino seafarers were initially rescued from the water as the vessel sank, while 3 more were found in the days that followed. On Monday evening, Cacdac had a video call with the 8 Filipino seafarers, together with labor attaché to Saudi Arabia Fidel Macawag, who said that the seafarers shall be brought to the hospital for medical protocols. The DMW also ensures access to critical support services, including medical evaluations, psychosocial counseling, and the reissuance of travel documents to facilitate their immediate return to the Philippines. Meanwhile, Cacdac assured the families of all 21 Filipino crew members that they will continue to receive full updates and assistance as the DMW and the DFA work to account for the 13 remaining seafarers.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, for Dateline Malacañang, the Department of Migrant Workers or DMW and the government of Oman are taking significant steps to strengthen their labor cooperation aimed at enhancing the welfare and protection of overseas Filipino workers or OFWs, including opening up more employment opportunities in the Gulf state. In a news release, the DMW said Migrant Workers Secretary Hans Leo Cacdac met with Omani Minister of Labor Mahad bin Said Al-Ali Bawain and Minister of Foreign Affairs Said Sadir bin Hamoud Al-Busaidi in Mandaluyong City. Discussions during the meeting focused on joint initiatives for safer, more ethical recruitment and fair treatment of Filipino workers in Oman. Meanwhile, Bawain said Oman is opening up more job opportunities for Filipino workers as it actively seeks household workers, technicians, support staff, and other skilled professionals. Secretary Cacdac said beyond Oman, the DMW continues to expand opportunities and protections for Filipinos across the Middle East, citing Jordan, with over 40,000 OFWs employed in the caregiving, hospitality, beauty services, and food service industries. He also underscored the importance of leveraging technology to make the deployment process more efficient and secure.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we end today's episode of Dateline Malacañang, Radyo Pilipinas World Service of the Presidential Broadcast Service is live on audio streaming. You can download eVox PBS receiver on your Google Play Store or the App Store if you are using Apple phone. Visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel as well. Type in and search for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Please subscribe, like, and share our posts. That concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang for Radyo Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this has been Bea Gaza-de Guzman.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.